For more, we're joined by Pierre-Antoine Donnet, former correspondent for the French news agency AFP in Beijing. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
The speech by Xi Jinping, we'll get to that in a moment, but actually, for China watchers, that first press conference by the prime minister was arguably as significant. In it, for instance, he downplays any notion of decoupling of the world economy between China and the U.S.
Well, what is also interesting is what said his predecessor. He made a short speech before leaving the rostrum, and he said, from now on, heaven is watching us. Heaven is watching us. So
heaven is watching us.
Yes, right. Heaven is watching us. So the meaning could be, well, nobody knows where China is going to. So it's amazing. But
what does that signify for you? That China's not so sure of its direction?
I think it's a veiled criticism, but very vague. It can be interpreted in many ways, but one way could be that it's a warning. But nobody will know exactly.
And so as for Li's remarks, is this a case of good cop, bad cop, where the president plays the bad cop?
Your new prime minister is really very loyal to Xi Jinping. He doesn't know much about economics, much less than his predecessor, Li Keqiang. So the way he talked about China and the US have to cooperate, this is not new, it's just to make the point that the door is still open. But in reality, of course, the door is open, but not much.
And what about the pronouncements of Xi Jinping when he talks about a great wall of steel for the military? Is this just the usual discourse, or is this a break?
No, it's really a break, because his speech was really offensive. The way he warned the United States, and for the first time, their allies, that is unprecedented in the mouth of Xi Jinping since he came to power in 2012. So the warning is really stern. It means that United States may soon cross the red line on Taiwan, and if they do so, there will be a conflict. And the conflict will be unavoidable. So, on the U.S. side, of course, they are playing soft. They are saying that the rhetoric has not changed. And there has been sign also that the U.S. side doesn't want to provoke China. There was a planned visit by the head of the Congress, McCarthy, who is a conservative, but he's not going there at the moment. It has been cancelled. He's going to meet the Taiwanese president, Tsai Ing-wen, but on the U.S. soil.
And is this the right way to approach Xi Jinping?
What is the right way to approach Xi Jinping? It's very hard to know. Xi Jinping has shown now that he is the only master of China, that he does not tolerate any opposition or actually even any discussions on his decisions. And he has just been reconducted as for a certain stint as the president of China.
Does this make him a different Xi Jinping from the one who first became president 10 years ago?
Well, the thing is that it's not so simple. The way he has been eliminating all his opponents shows in a way that he's fragile. Also, the fact that he has never appointed a possible successor is also a sign that maybe he's more fragile than we think. And ahead of him are many, many problems for China. One is economy. The economy is fainting. And secondly, this is more and more obvious with each day passing. There is now a coalition siding together to confront China. Of course, led by the United States, but not only, together with Japan, South Korea, Australia, even India. So the margin of trying to restore the relationship between Washington and Beijing is very small.
And we have the Reuters news agency reporting now that this trip to Moscow, which the Chinese had paid lip service to but hadn't really set a date, well, it could happen within the next month.
Yeah, well, that was already announced by the Russian side. Vladimir Putin, when he met Wang Yi, the past foreign minister of China, he said that we are waiting for a visit of Mr. Xi Jinping. He's expected here. But on the Chinese side, they never said that it was going to be the case. Now we have the news that it's going. This is no surprise, because, as I said, because of the of China being more and more cornered, their only leverage is to side together with Russia.
The Wall Street Journal reporting that Xi Jinping will speak with his Ukrainian counterparts.
Well, but that's just a bluff. I mean, it's it's going nowhere. The peace plan of China is not a peace plan. It's just a program to put Russia in a dominant position. And when we see the relationship between China and Russia, it's also benefiting China a lot, because they import lots of hydrocarbons, I mean, gas, petrol, and so forth. And also their influence in Middle Asia is growing, and the influence of Russia is going down. So they're benefiting from that.
Yeah, so Russia bogged down in Ukraine means that China is becoming more of a preferred partner for places like Kazakhstan, which are also oil and gas producers.
It is. And for Vladimir Putin, he has no choice at all. The only thing he can have is the support of China. So he has been begging for that for months. So now it's becoming clear that he will get the support. Is he going to
What
get...
does that mean, the support? Right now, they've not sent weapons.
No, this is really a red line. If they do that, that would be really... That would change the whole landscape. The game is going to be played very differently. That would mean that China would experience immediately very heavy sanctions from the United States, together probably also from sanctions from the West.
Pierre-Antoine Donnet, are you surprised when that announcement came last Friday that it was China that brokered a thaw in relations between Saudi Arabia and Iran?
Not really, because Xi Jinping has made a visit to these countries not long ago. And the Chinese influence there is growing as well. So it's actually a diplomatical coup that they achieved, because this is against the will of the United States, and the United States are seeing very precisely that their relationship with Saudi Arabia are deteriorating. So now, having Saudi Arabia re-establishing diplomatic relations with Iran is also a big coup for Iran, because Iran was totally isolated. And with that, Iran said today, we also want to normalize ties with Qatar and other countries in the region. So this is also very, bad sign for Israel, because Iran not being alone will play a bigger role, and a really nasty role in the region.
Pierre-Antoine, beginning of the discussion, you tell us how China has issues, that its economy is weakening. Now you're telling me China's strong, that it's the one that can impose conditions on Russia, it's the one that brokers a warming of relations in the Middle East?
They're not that strong, you know. Actually, playing a role in the Middle East is one of their last cards in their game. They don't have much. In Africa, they are very much there, but also there is more and more dissatisfaction among the African countries on the way they lended money to these countries, and they want the money back, and these countries cannot pay back. And so now they're asking, to get back the infrastructures that they built there. So they don't have many cards in their game anymore.
Pierre-Antoine Donnet, formerly of the Beijing correspondent for AFP, thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much.